Good morning. I'm Jiayi from Huazhong International School. I'm happy to stand here to share with you how I overcome my fear of animals and become a volunteer to protect wildlife in Singapore. In fact, I was very afraid of animals when I was a little girl. I was bitten by a dog. Let me tell you about the situation at that time. It was a small yellow dog, about this size. And as the path I took that day was too narrow, I could only try to walk as far away as I can from it. But just as I approached it, it started to bark. I was immediately petrified. A little girl and the dog very awkwardly opposed. I was so scared that I couldn't even dare to go back. And the dog seemed also to be very afraid. Maybe we were both too young to handle this situation. It finally turns out that the dog was more experienced. It bit me and quickly ran away. A few months later, my dad bought me a husky. Yes, a husky. Because he saw that the incident had left me with a huge shadow in my heart. He called it therapy to fight poison with poison. I still remember the first day my dad took the dog home. It embraced my leg with great enthusiasm, and my parents just stand there watching me scream. But the final result is good. I even embarked on a journey of raising animals as pets that seems to be beyond hope. I raised 2 cats. Both of them are stray cats. Most of the time, they just sleep. When I do my homework, one lies on my leg and the other on the desk. They do not care about their image at all. They are always drooling and mouth-talking in their sleep. Every summer, I will raise a grasshopper. I like the sound grasshoppers make. My mom said it can drive away nightmares. I also raised 2 hamsters. They are very bored. They can calmly grit their teeth in front of my cats. I also raised countless goldfish, although they are dead in the end. I also raised geckos, spiders, and other visitors to my room that my parents didn't really approve of. I never thought I would be a volunteer to protect wildlife in Singapore. But one day, I saw a video posted by HCIS. It was about turtles being rescued. HCIS is an animal protection organization driven by concern for animals. It embarks on research projects on animal conservation. Their research findings are then used to educate the public to promote active community involvement in animal protection, as well as to strive towards synergistic partnerships with government authorities and other stakeholders. Their mission is to create a caring and socially responsible society where animals are treated as sentient beings. When I saw the little turtles, I suddenly realized that there are some animals which may not be so beautiful also need help. They can suffer as much as any adorable animal can. Last year, I went to HCIS Wildlife Rescue Center to do some volunteering work. I helped to take care of the sick animals, doing things like checking whether the turtles with runny noses had recovered or they still need to be kept in the constant temperature intensive care unit, changing their daily drinking water and recording their eating and excreting conditions. I also helped with cleaning the cages of the chacualas, a kind of large lizard, and disinfecting the cages used to rescue animals. While doing those things, the staff told me many stories about how the animals got injured and how they helped them. I watched how they fed little baby squirrels who had fallen from trees and found dying in the streets. I saw a monkey whose neck was tightened by a collar The collar even pulled into his neck. I heard his hopeless screech. I saw a crow whose claw was caught by a trap, and it is rescued by Icarus. It even flew to my shoulder when I was changing water for a sea turtle. I can still remember how its claws felt on my shoulder and how its flapping wings hit my head. This year, I had the opportunity to organize an Icarus tour, and we chose illegal animal trading as our learning topic. We heard the stories of different species with the same destiny of smuggling. We did an interview on the Icarus staff to learn why they sacrifice so much to do volunteering work. Did you know that when turtles are smuggled from South Africa to Singapore, they are wrapped tightly and leaving only a small hole for breathing? They are packed in plastic boxes and coffee cups. They fall into dormancy due to lack of food and oxygen. Only half of the turtles can arrive in Singapore alive. But what awaits them once here is to be picked and chosen in illegal animal trading circuit. After exchanging hands, the owner's wrong caring may also make them suffer further and even lose their lives. Even if the owner releases them, they are still a foreign invasive species and regarded as pets. Is it ridiculous? It is human who bring them here, and it is also human who chase them away. We constantly pursue equality. We demand gender equality and racial equality in our societies. But for animals, we seem to committed to protecting only the lovely and the rare, while ignoring those that are more innumerous and bad-looking. There are so many things I have seen and experienced, much more than what I can say here. But the constant thing is that I'm always overjoyed to see the animals recover. And I can always see the staff and other volunteers' passion for rescuing animals. Every time I see the recovered animals, and every time I see their scars, I will feel the preciousness of life and delight of living. And I also encourage my team members to participate in the volunteering work. We fear of the unknown. We define good and evil intuitively by appearance. Human nature itself is like this. Just like when I was a little child, I was afraid of dogs. Not because I knew that they would definitely bite me whenever they saw me, but because of the unknown. I didn't know how to get along with dogs. I couldn't understand their movements, their vocalizations, and their body language. So I misunderstood them. I didn't know that the dog bit me was probably more afraid of me because of my self-defensive behavior. The best way to eliminate misunderstandings is to be open-minded and communicate. What we can do is to let go of the fear in our mind and let go of the prejudice in our heart, and face them with a peaceful attitude. I believe as long as we are sincere, we can find a better way for living, for ourselves, for the world around us, and for the animals we share the planet with. I want to say thank you to Icarus for their great passion to save animals, for their unremitting efforts to spread the idea of animal protection. We may not be so noble like Icarus staff, who adopt all their time into volunteering work, but we still have our goodwill. We are still young, we still have plenty of energy and time. So, we should do something we really think is meaningful and make some differences. Thank you.